Demands we know are growing for Governor Polis to call an emergency legislative session to change a law that requires judges dismiss charges against certain violent offenders and release them back into the public. Your reporters have been covering these cases for months now. Well, we are talking about individuals that court evaluators say are incompetent and not restorable, like Solomon Galligan, who allegedly tried to kidnap a child from an Aurora school, and Ephraim DeBisa, who's accused of a violent attack in Greeley. State Senator Barbara Kirkmeyer voted to pass that law last year, but says it needs to be revised. It's not being followed as it was meant to.
We were told, and as we read through the bill and worked through this bill, that these individuals that committed these horrendous crimes would either be in a correctional facility or that they would be committed to an institution. Unfortunately, that is not what's going on with this law.
Your political reporter Sean Boyd spoke with a lawmaker who sponsored that bill last year. Joins us now to explain. Sean, this has been a twisty path to get here.
Yeah, and the problem started long before this law, Karen. In 1972, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that defendants who are found incompetent and unlikely to be restored in the foreseeable future must be released. Ideally, these people would be civilly committed. But Colorado doesn't have enough beds. So while some have been released, hundreds have sat in jail for years, resulting in a lawsuit. The state was ordered to pay $12 million a year until it addressed the issue. The law in question was an attempt to do that. In Colorado, some 350 people who have been deemed incompetent to stand trial are sitting in jail right now, waiting to be placed in a treatment facility. These are the people for whom treatment may help restore competency, and the state can't even find a bed for them. Then there are people like Solomon Galligan and Ephraim DeBisa, who are unlikely to ever be restored. They have severe intellectual disabilities, making placement nearly impossible.
We don't have civil commitment beds for these categories of people.
Senator Judy Amabile sponsored a bill last year to help change that by, among other things, dismissing criminal charges which will never be prosecuted anyway.
The charges aren't dropped. It becomes a lot harder for that person to get a bed in a civil system.
Her bill also limited how long law enforcement could hold people deemed incompetent to 35 days to prevent them from being held for years. While it allowed for extension, she says that wasn't clear to some courts.
So some courts thought for somebody with an intellectual or developmental disability that clock stopped at 35 days.
Which is part of why Galligan and DeBisa were released, she says, but blaming the law alone is a red herring.
People are scoring political points on the backs of the victims of these crimes, but also on the backs of people who are sick.
The issue, she says, is a lack of facilities to place them. That will take money.
No victim of crime wants to hear that it's too expensive for us to fix this problem. Like, we cannot do that. Let's create a system that really does work, where we can actually enhance public safety, where we can reduce the number of victims, and where the people who are sick can get the care they need.
Amabile is working on bills that would open beds for emergency commitments as well as long-term placements. She is also looking to change and simplify the civil commitment process. Right now, a person is presumed unrestorable if one evaluator says they are, and county attorneys handle the cases. Other states allow criminal courts to handle civil commitments. Governor Polis says he is doing everything he can to improve the system, and Amabile says he is involved in these discussions around the legislation, and he says he wants to hear from victims about their ideas. I got to say, you know, while Democrats have been blamed for this, this is a bill that passed the Senate unanimously and the House almost unanimously. So lots of Republicans on board this one, too.
They thought they were solving a problem.
Exactly.
Created another one, right? All right, here we go. Thank you, Sean.